Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to today's webinar, which is on my favorite topic to teach, which is on resilience and well-being. And today we're specifically going to look at how I can share some tips with you to help you stay healthy while working from home. My name is Kasia McNaught. I am from McNaught Media, and I'm presenting this webinar today on behalf of Business Station and the ASBAS program. If you're joining me live during this webinar, please feel free to type any questions you may have into the chat box and chat window, as I love to answer them. Otherwise, if you're watching this as in the recording after the event itself, always happy to hear your feedback. So please feel free to get in touch. All right, then I shall begin. So I'm going to jump in between either speaking to you like this or sharing my slide deck with you so that I'm not killing you softly with PowerPoint. So I shall begin. Okie dokie. So as I've mentioned today, we are going to be looking at staying healthy while working from home. Probably couldn't be more timely. Well, I'm in WA, you may be tuning in from another state, but yeah, we're just currently in a snap 4-day lockdown, which was announced, just a few hours before midnight last night. So even if working from home is not your usual, outfit, it's something that a lot of us have to adapt to, when these lockdowns and safety measures are announced. So since I work in the online space, I do work a lot from home myself. And I know that a lot of the small business owners that I help through ASBAS and Business Station are also working from home. So I'm going to share with you some of my biggest learnings. And I always am aware of wanting to practice what I preach. So this is also a timely reminder for me to live by what I teach. So let's begin. Just have to once again say that this presentation is brought to us by Business Station and the ASBAS Digital Solutions Program. I can tell you more about this at the end, but if you'd like to learn more for yourself, please jump online to www.businessstation.com.au. So I love this quote because I was speaking to client recently who is actually a psychologist, and they were explaining to me how pretty much 80% of what we experience is about how we perceive it, and 20% is actually about what we actually experience itself, while most people would actually probably think it to be the other way around. So it really is mind over matter, and as per this quote, the mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. But hopefully from some of the things we look at today, we'll be able to make a bit more heaven for everyone who's tuning in. So just to just give you a little idea of what we're going to be covering today, I am going to be sharing with you my top tips and tools for looking after both your physical and emotional well-being while working from home. The two really do go hand in hand, and you can't have one without the other. So let's go. So firstly, to just introduce myself, to those of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting either in person or online, I'm Kasia. I have been a digital marketing advisor for Business Station for over 2 years now. I am also a business owner. I've been running my marketing agency, McNaught Media, for over 5 years now. And yeah, just a few reasons why I have, a real affinity and love for health and wellness. I am actually myself a thyroid cancer survivor. So yeah, when I was, I'm 35 years old now. I just turned 35 this month. But when I was 24, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and I'm really fine now and in remission, but it's really something that happened in my life that's really encouraged me and I guess made me look at myself and my habits and my health and how I can really, minimize my stress and, live a cancer-free and healthy life so I can thrive, not just survive. I'm also a gym junkie, so a little bit sad I can't go to the gym today, but totally happy to have a short lockdown for the, greater good. Mark McGowan is doing a great job. I'm a hiking enthusiast. I'm a beach lover. And you can probably notice by my earrings that a lovely client gave me, I'm also a crazy cat lady. So let's go back to our screen. Okay. And my topic that I teach usually with Business Station, apart from this webinar, which I really enjoy presenting, is actually mostly digital marketing, social media. So I'm an online marketing coach. And because I do spend a lot of time in the online space, it's also something that really makes me realize that there has to be strong boundaries in place, which is, going to be covered in my slides as we progress. But social media is fantastic for business when it's used with a strategy to get more exposure. However, social media also has its downfalls from a personal point of view in terms of, if you spend too much time on it and on devices and technology in general. So I guess I'm a bit of a, a contradiction in a way, because I work online, but I also really see the value in switching off and disconnecting so you can truly connect. All right. So when I was putting this presentation together, I kept, saving little snippets of inspiration and reading some articles, because I always like to research and learn something new for what I'm teaching. But one of the most interesting things I came across was, an article and a learning that psychologists have actually found that one of the best strategies for dealing with and managing the emotions you're feeling is to come up with a name for them, a name for what you're feeling. So I've included a few interesting terms here that I think a few of you could quite possibly relate to in the current climate. So languishing is actually a thing. And have any of you ever felt meh? Well, if you watch The Simpsons, you'll know that term. I'm not a fan of The Simpsons, but I do like the term meh, because when you're feeling not so good, but not so bad, that's pretty much languishing, which is the official term for feeling meh. And just back to our slides, it can be, officially classified as a sense of stagnation and emptiness. Could feel as if you're muddling through your days, looking at your life through a foggy windshield. And the New York Times actually coined this as the dominant emotion of, that should be 2021, not 202, the dominant notion of 2021. So this is very interesting, and some of you may relate to this. This one I love. So one of my best friends is German, and she told me this term a few weeks ago because we were having a discussion about, when you're like lying awake at night and you can't switch your mind off, and it's like this cinema that's playing in your head. Well, this is the German word Kopfkino, which literally translates as head cinema. Pardon my pronunciation if it's not 100%, but it's really about those mental images, which, it's how you imagine events will unfold. And it's when we sort of find like we're sitting back and our hopes and fears are creating dramatic narratives that we have to, spectate and watch whether we want to or not. And this one is another thing that's very current, coronosomia, however you say it. But, with the COVID-19 stress, no matter how much it affects your business or where you're living, for some much more than others, but it affects us all in some way. And the huge changes in routines and the decreased activity for many people, this is what's causing sleep experts to say that the coronavirus has actually caused a second pandemic of insomnia. A lot of it ties back to broken routines. And, it's a bit of a series of vicious circles, because when you're worried about it, it makes it worse, and then you're aware of it, but you're not quite sure how to solve it. But hopefully some of the tactics that I'm going to share with you today will be helpful for this. But just to, cover off on the negatives, and I'm going to, arm you with a lot of positives, but here are some of the, potential challenges that come with working from home. So number one is you may feel isolated, working alone as a small business owner, or, being on your own can feel very lonely sometimes. So yeah, remotely, you can feel alone. So that's one of the challenges that we may face. Also, the second biggest challenge that I think a lot of people I speak to relate to is difficulty staying motivated. So this could be due to disruptions such as pets, children, domestic duties. Now, this is a big one. Number 3, lack of work-life balance. So, a lot of people I speak to, they start their own businesses, or started their own businesses because they really wanted to have some work-life balance, or they wanted to be able to run their own schedules, or, be their own boss. But yeah, a lot of them also say to me, and I can relate to this, that they're working harder than ever before because, as a small business owner, we often need to do everything, at least in the very beginning or the first few years. So this is something to definitely be aware of, because, it can lead to a greater risk of burnout, and nobody wants to crash and burn. When I was in my 20s, I worked in many high sort of energy sales, corporate roles, and mainly media sales roles, one corporate role. And it really, really burnt me out because, yeah, I didn't have that lack of work-life balance. So this is one of the biggest things that I think we need to be aware of. And the last thing that I've got on here, difficulty eating well and staying active. I mean, sometimes when you're at your desk working all day and there's no escape because you live and work in the same space. I mean, during COVID last year, my home office was also my gym. I had a cross trainer in my 1-bedroom apartment. Don't ask me how I managed that. Anyway, so when you're sort of like in your space of work all the time, and there's no like separation between the office and home, you may not stop for regular healthy meals, and you may find that you're not getting enough exercise because you're sitting all day. I actually just before this webinar put on my raincoat, walked down the road, supported a local business to get my takeaway coffee, because even though I have a coffee machine, it's my excuse to sort of actually move a little bit and get some fresh air, and also, a bit of human contact, obviously with the mask on at this stage. Alrighty, let's go. So I've covered some of the potential challenges and negatives and some of the risks that we may face while working from home. But now we get to the best bit, where I am going to be sharing healthy strategies for working from home, including some, top tips and tools that you can refer to and hopefully make use of after this session, and yeah, for forever and always. Okay, just excuse me while I have a sip of my coffee. So just to give you some context, that first term that I shared with you, languishing, well, the opposite of languishing is actually an official term also, and it's called flourishing. So that's what we want to aim for. And, there's a growing body of research that shows that there are simple steps that you can take to recharge your emotional batteries and spark a sense of fulfillment, purpose, and happiness. In official psychology land, professionals call this lofty combination of physical, mental, and emotional fitness flourishing. Again, my source here is the New York Times. Some great articles on there. So this is the goal, team. So, all right, well, I'm going to share with you some of my strategies. So getting outside, okay? So not only because it feels good, but there's so much research to back this up, So scheduling regular time in nature reduces anger, fear, and stress, and increases pleasant feelings, just to name a few of the benefits for which there are many studies to prove. Whoops, sorry about that. Also, you can find your happy place. So some people love the mountains, some people love the sea. I love both, but for me, it's definitely the ocean. I like to call it vitamin C. If you can schedule to spend some time offline to recharge your body and soul, you really will feel the benefits of this. Also, just a few of the sort of like medical scientific facts are, exposure to nature, it does reduce blood pressure, it lowers your heart rate, muscle tension, and it decreases the production of stress hormones. And that on the side there is an actual photo of me and my hiking crew. So during COVID last year, everybody started a new hobby or, pastime. Some people were cooking or knitting or, I don't know, like learning something new. But my new thing was hiking. So I started a little hiking group with my friends from the gym, and we called it the COVID Eagles, because the first track we ever went on when I was with them had an eagle sign. So that for me was the best therapy during COVID, because, we can't really travel much, but we can still explore some of the beautiful nature trails in WA and our own backyard. So yeah, that was one of my little things, which I haven't been hiking for a couple of months at least, sadly, but I am aiming to get there because, yeah, I love it. So one of the biggest things to keep you physically and mentally okay is staying active, so here's a few little things to do, or a few little ways to make it a bit easier. Even if you can't go to the gym, I love going to the gym. That's my, best way for me to start the day. If I pump some iron, sweat out whatever mental tension is stuck in there. But if I can't, some days, even when it's not lockdown, it's, not possible. That's okay. I like to start and end the working day with a walk. Like I mentioned before, I trotted down the road to get my coffee earlier. I love this. If it's possible to do so, why not schedule walking meetings rather than sitting down at a cafe and just get a takeaway coffee and walk with it? I really wish sometimes that I could do Zoom consults while walking, but I'm not quite sure how to really make that work when, we need screens, unless I'm on a phone, which is not quite the same if we're talking technical stuff. But anyway, this I love. So not I love, but I live by, stick to a daily step count. So, okay, I don't really get there every day, but you know what, at least I aim to do so, and I aim to improve. So, the magic number to go for healthy activity levels is 10,000 steps a day. If I'm super busy with, consults or workshops, I aim for between 8 to 10K steps a day. But for those of you who have, an iPhone, or anyone with an Android, you can get an app called Pacer, Pacer, which will, track your steps, or even just refer to, in the case of iPhones, Apple Health, and it will show you your step count. I also wear a, what do you call that? I don't even know, an Apple Watch. But I actually used to have a Fitbit. I liked it even better, to be honest. But, you can get all these smart watches now that'll, the main reason I have this is tracking my steps, using the timer at the gym, getting my health insights. So that's great. This dude over here, if you haven't seen before, his name is Dhiren Kartel. He's a legend. He's a personal trainer from the UK. What he actually has done is he started this movement called Need Up 24/7. And this is his Instagram handle if you want to follow him. He's very entertaining, at dhiren.kartel. What the Need Up 24/7 stands for, the NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So this whole movement, Need Up 24/7, is about increasing your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So in other words, increasing your physical activity outside of going to the gym or, going to train, and because you can do this in so many ways. Increase your activity level daily by making little changes. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. If you're early to your meeting, park a little bit further away and walk. Walk to the shop instead of driving. And what Diron did, which was so entertaining and cool, he ended up on BBC and all the major news channels, is that he actually was in isolation last year now, and he was determined that in his hotel room he was still going to achieve his 10K steps a day. So he did get I think a treadmill or one of those exercise machines delivered to his room, but he was filming it live, and like all his followers were sort of like tuning in. And yeah, it was just really cool because he was really open about sharing his journey. But you know what, it's not just about the steps, it's about the the mental challenge of doing that. And that's that actual satisfaction you get from achieving it. So yeah, that's one of my little tips, is the step count. Okay, back to our presentation. As I was saying before, I love hiking, so hiking, I mean, I'm not a professional hiker, so really for me hiking is bushwalking, but I'm sure there are people who are professional hikers who know a lot more about it than I do. But anyone can get a pair of hiking boots and go and explore somewhere beautiful with some friends, or join a hiking group, or even start your own like I did, the COVID Eagles. But for me, it's a great way to unplug from daily life, explore nature trails in WA, and just stop and appreciate the little things. So another great benefit of this hobby is that hiking boosts fitness, improves mental well-being, and it helps us stay social with friends. And it's a great way of challenging ourselves. That's actually a photo of me on a hike with a backpack. One of my clients creates and sells Shumi boxes by Shumi. So yeah, just love to get off the beaten track, and I always do turn my phone and devices to do not disturb, even if we're using apps to track our trail. But yeah, for me, this is just one of the most beautiful and simple things. And when COVID is over, or when the world is back to whatever it comes back to, as close to normal as possible, I'd love to do some of the trails around the world, like the El Camino Trail in Spain. This is a huge one, guys. So eating a healthy diet, so please try to make sure you eat a balanced, healthy, and nutritious diet to keep yourself in peak condition. It doesn't matter kind of like how much exercise or whatever you do, but if you're not putting good stuff into your body and fueling the tank, it's not going to be able to perform at its peak. Also, stay hydrated. Like the average we're meant to have more or less, and obviously this may depend slightly on your body weight, etc., but on average it's about 2 liters of filtered water a day for a human, an adult human. I'm not sure about aliens, but if anyone knows, let me know. I have a filtered water jug that I keep in the fridge that I refill all the time. I just replace the filter. It's plastic, so probably not ideal, but you can get filtered water tanks, etc. A lot of the time I find, if you're feeling a bit off and you maybe even think you're hungry, sometimes you're dehydrated, so it's really good to stay hydrated and, limit the caffeine and sugar intake. I guess we all know our limits, hopefully, when it comes to how much coffee we can actually consume before we're bouncing off the walls and, bouncing too much, not in a great way. But, having caffeine for most people after lunchtime or midday lunchtime is not the best in terms of affecting our sleep cycle. And, limiting our sugar intake is just sensible, because otherwise, if you rely on, heavily processed sugary snacks to sort of get energy, it's going to end up, resulting in a real crash. And it's like the crash and burn, so it's not going to give you that sustained energy release that's going to keep you going and going to not feel like a, roller coaster. And also, if you're time poor and you don't enjoy cooking, like I don't enjoy I don't enjoy cooking for myself, to be honest. Like if I am super relaxed and I have a lot of time and I'm not working on the next project for work, then yes, I love to do a beautiful meal if I have people over. But to be honest, during the week, when it comes to just cooking for myself, and especially if I'm working late, not my thing. So my way of dealing with this is I order some healthy food delivery. So one of the options for WA people I love is called Hail the Kale. But there's many options around. And regardless, you should always go for the rainbow on your plate in terms of the fruit and the veggies. This is because they contain something called polyphenols. And that's going to really be, the best for your nutritional panel in terms of getting all the little ticks off. But it all comes down to preparation. So even if you're doing food prep for yourself, you can do this in advance and also save some time. You may just need to put aside a few hours on a Sunday to do so if you're not really wanting to do the healthy meal delivery option. But plan ahead and avoid highly processed foods. It's just about really just having a balance. And I love having a burger and chips on the weekend if I've had a few too many wines the night before. And I love pizza, so I'll have it, if I feel like it once a week. I just don't eat it every single day. And I know, that if I have, for example, a burger and chips, it's going to contain a lot more calories for a small amount than if I have a big, salad or salad bowl filled with lots of different veggies and, the right amount of protein. So it's just about, having that balance that works for you. So yeah. And one quote that stayed with me is that I watched a lot of documentaries, and in the past, one of them was Food Matters. And someone said in one of their documentaries, if you eat people made by men in white coats, you will end up getting seen by men in white coats. So yeah, at the end of the day, just try to keep it real when it comes to what you put on your plate and into your body. Your body is your temple. So, this is a big one. So maintaining a daily routine. That's why for me, when the gyms are open, I love to go to the gym, because for me, that's how I feel like I get into my day. I start, I sweat out, I then shower, and then I'm fresh and I can take on anything for the day ahead. But, this is one of the things that I think a lot of small business owners find challenging, because you're not in a, necessarily in a 9-to-5 office situation where you have to arrive by 9 a.m. and your lunch break, is at X amount of 1 to 2 or whatever, or 1 to 1:30, and then you have to leave, or you leave at a certain time. So this is why it's more important to actually, as much as you can, stick to set working hours. I mean, I'll be honest, I understand this is not always an easy thing, because things that are unexpected pop up when you're running your business. But, we just do our best to juggle and be aware of, these things. So a few things you can do, to keep this balance a bit better. Limit your screen time. This is a big thing. So I've actually got a screen shader on my laptop, which you can get as a Chrome extension. I'm pretty sure it's just called Screen Shader, or sometimes just in your Chrome settings or in your screen settings, because I plug into bigger screens. You can also turn on, cooler colors or night mode. You can schedule it at a certain time. My phone is pretty much always on dark mode. So it's always looking dark, so that it's easier on my eyes, to be honest. So the other thing is you can get some apps as well that will actually limit your screen time. So my assistant Sally, who's lovely, she has some apps set on her phone, and she has the setting on her phone for various apps. And again, in iPhones, you can find this in the settings. She limits the amount of time she can spend on these certain apps. So I don't do that myself, because I sort of need to jump on there for clients, and maybe I'm making excuses, but I do have my cutoff time in terms of, before bed. I do Get off devices and screens at least an hour before bed. I mean, ideally it would be more like 2-3 hours, but you know, I'm just being realistic and honest here. But you know, it's the blue light that you're exposed to when you're working on devices, phones, screens, or watching TVs, whatever it is, they actually trigger, you know, chemicals in your brain, and it keeps you awake, and it keeps you feeling sometimes, you know, like wired, even though you're tired, and then you can't get to sleep. So it is a vicious cycle. I recently bought a big, like clunky alarm clock that I keep next to my bed, with the aim of not having the phone next to my bed, because, you know, not the best, especially if you have the tendency to possibly like pick it up in the middle of the night if you can't sleep, or, you know, scroll when you can't sleep, or, you know, check it first thing. So having clear boundaries with office hours, as much as I can myself work too hard sometimes, I also have clear boundaries. So sometimes, well, actually, I always take a break on Sundays, unless, you know, there's something that's really unusual or pressing, because I find that if I don't switch off and even just like chill and watch Netflix or go hiking or just rest, I'm not going to be the best I can be for my clients, and I'm not going to be very helpful for anybody else, you know. So it's all about, you know, making sure that you fill your cup before you can fill anybody else's, and finding what works for you, you know. So yeah, setting the boundaries and then following through. You know, another thing I do is, if I am responding to emails, this is just something I like to do. If I am responding to emails and it's late at night, I don't actually send them. I use G Suite or Google, so I'll schedule to send them, but they can be sent by 8 a.m. the next morning. But I don't want my clients or people I work with to think that I'm, you know, online really late and I expect them to be, or vice versa. So, you know, out of office on your email, that is a great thing, you know, because we weren't put on this earth just to respond to emails. So yeah, I've kind of like talked a little bit about this, but bedtime hygiene, you know, there's heaps of things you can read about it online. Obviously, take everything you read online with a pinch of salt, but it is really helpful to create a relaxing wind down routine. So a few of the things that I like to do include, I find that when it comes to my time to start switching off, I don't want bright lights around. I don't want noisy stuff. I like to really like dim the lights. You know, I have a, you know, Himalayan rock salt lamp next to my bed because I love the light from it. I don't have harsh lights. I love to either have some incense or essential oils burning. I've actually got a couple here on my desk. One of my lovely clients, Sharon, gave me this Serenity one, which is perfect to wind down at night. Oops, I'll show you. And then, you know, this is another one I love for the day, which is Elevation, you know, so soothing oils, just, you know, signaling to my brain that it's time to wind down. As I mentioned before, you know, getting off screens at least an hour before bed. It depends what you like in your wind down routine as well. Some people like to read before bed. If I'm like super tired, as much as I love reading books, that's not what I need to do. So, you know, could include having a non-caffeinated herbal tea before bed, for example. Let's come back. So yeah, as I was saying before as well, you know, I invested in a good old-fashioned alarm clock from IKEA. That's literally what it looks like. However, I completely forgot that these things are so loud when the alarm actually goes off. So my thing now is, if I don't want to sleep with my phone next to my bed, which I don't, it's like I'll leave it in the other room with the alarm on, because then I have to get up. But that thing is scary. It's really loud. Yeah, and then trying to go to sleep and wake up at the same time each day, it's going to help your circadian rhythm. So yeah, getting the right amount of sleep for you. For some people, it's 8 hours. For me, it's like, yeah, I like to have 8 hours or more, to be honest. But you know, if I have to get by on 6 hours or 5 hours minimum, I can, but it's not ideal. And if I keep doing that many nights in a row, I really feel like I'm worn out. So it's about what's right for you. So you need to find that for yourself. So setting up for success, this makes a big difference as well. So, if you can create a separate working space where possible, if you're working from home, this is especially helpful, if you're living in a very small space, you may not be able to have a completely separate room. I don't, but I have my area. I at least turn my screens off at night, and then I, walk away, go to my room, chill, close the door. But it's like, if you can have that separate working space, that's great. This is what I am yet to do, but I need to, and I encourage everyone to invest in a standing desk. Apparently, since a lot of people have gone back to work because we haven't been in the extended lockdowns as much for Perth people, you can find some really good quality ones secondhand on Facebook Marketplace, if you know which ones to look for. I'm sure, a lot of people may be selling them, but yeah, good thing to invest in. And yeah, even just looking at your work setup, how you can make small improvements, such as, buying an ergonomic mouse, which looks like this. It's a bit clunky, but it's better for your wrists and your hands. So yeah, when I am on my devices and phones too much, I get something called carpal tunnel syndrome, which means I get pain and numbness in my hands and fingers. It's also referred to as selfie wrist, because apparently Kim Kardashian got it from taking 2,000 selfies in a weekend, but I assure you I'm not doing that. It's from working. So yeah, ergonomic setup, big difference. And, making sure you stop and stretch regularly. So a foam roller is a great friend to have by your desk. I've actually got one over there, but as human beings, we don't spend enough time on the floor. So even lying on the floor, I find when which I'm going to go over with you, meditate, I like to lay on the floor with my legs up on the wall, because it's like the blood rushes back down to your heart, and it's a very restful, restorative yoga pose. So this is a big thing, guys. Just looking how, yeah, good. We're good for time. So meditation, I can only just say, if you don't believe me, please do some research for yourself. But thousands of studies have shown more and more how mindfulness meditation can result in so many benefits, So here are just a few examples, but, gaining a new perspective on stressful situations, building skills to manage your stress, increasing self-awareness, focusing on the present, reducing negative emotions, increasing imagination and creativity, and increasing patience and tolerance. For me, I've been doing this now for many years. I meditate, I aim to meditate every day. Sometimes I skip a day here and there, but I really find it helpful and love it. And during COVID, when we were in full lockdown, I was meditating at least twice a day, and it really made a difference to how I felt and how I coped with things. And, it's just such an important and powerful tool when it comes to actually bringing you back to the present moment, allowing you to take a step back and sort of look at things and reframe your perspective as the observer of your life, rather than being caught up in the, head cinema like we were looking at before. So it's really given me a lot of perspective and bringing me back to the present, So in a world where attention is so highly commoditized, I really feel like the biggest gift that you can give the people that you encounter, whether that be personally or in your day-to-day life or through work, is the gift of your attention and being fully present. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, so this is a big part of my presentation, but you don't need to be most of us can't be a Buddhist monk who gets to go and meditate and escape to the Himalayas and spend a year in a cave to reflect on the nature of consciousness. but we can all start to practice this and implement it into our daily lives. So this is what I'm going to recommend to you guys today. So if any of you would like to try this out, this is my favorite app for meditation. I've actually used and tried quite a few different ones. And there's a few reasons why I love this one, but it's a very factual sort of like, it's not a very airy-fairy app. It's very much about, you know, exploring the practice of meditation and also the theory behind it. And it gives you a guide to understanding your mind and, you know, for the purpose of living a more balanced and fulfilling life. What I also love is that when you jump onto the app, you can actually see on there, it will say there how it's got daily meditation, and it will actually show you how many people are currently practicing from around the world. So I find that really cool. There's also, you know, different things you can listen and look at: theory, practice, timer, if you want to do a meditation yourself and just use the timer. But yeah, I usually jump on and do the daily meditation. There's a 10 or 20-minute daily meditation you can do every day, and it refreshes each day. And this app is by Sam Harris, who I absolutely love. He is a neuroscientist, philosopher, and New York Times best-selling author. If I was to ever have a dinner party, I would definitely want Sam Harris there, along with Ricky Gervais. If any of you guys are interested in philosophy, they've actually, Ricky Gervais, the comedian, is actually, yeah, he's actually got a philosophy degree, and they've started a podcast together. So Sam Harris and Ricky Gervais, which is really cool. I'm trying to remember what it's called now, but if you search it on the, you know, podcast app or on Google, it'll come up because it's, yeah, it's been really popular. And I am going to send an email out after this thanking everybody for tuning in today. And I'm going to also include a link which will give you guys a free 30-day trial if you want to try this app. It is a paid app. But the other thing I love about Sam Harris and everything he does is that if anybody wants this app and they can't afford to buy it, all you need to do is send an email to him, or the email that you can get from the app, and just say, I'd like to please, you know, have access to the app. I can't pay for it. And they'll grant it to you, no questions asked. So yeah, in other words, they don't want money to be a reason that anybody cannot access or benefit from this. So yeah, really recommend this. I know it might seem a bit strange that, you know, I'm talking about meditating using an app on your phone, but I mean, it really does help me and teach me, and I love it. And if you're new to meditation, or even if you just want to, you know, even explore some of the lessons in here, if you're quite a seasoned meditator, yeah, couldn't recommend it more. And I don't get any kickback from it, of course, by the way. I just recommend this app because I love it. Yeah, and this is a quote by the man himself, Sam Harris. You know, the past is a memory. It is a thought arising in the present. The future is merely anticipated. It is another thought arising now. Whoops. What we truly have is this moment, and we spend most of our lives forgetting the truth. Oh. So that is my I could talk about meditation for hours, but that is my little spiel on meditation. And now I'm going to recommend a program for small business owners. So this is a really cool incentive from Beyond Blue. So Beyond Blue have recently launched a program, a free program specifically for small business owners. It's free, it's confidential mental health program, and it's been developed by Beyond Blue for small business owners to give them the support they need, and support them because, you know, as we all know, if we've just started on or are well into that journey, it does come with its challenges. For those of you who want to know the, you know, theory behind it, it uses low intensity cognitive-based therapy, which helps us recognize the way we think, act, and feel. So if you enroll for this program and get set up to start, you'll be assigned with a coach who'll help you with, challenges such as how you can tackle unhelpful thoughts and behaviors, and they'll help you create an individual plan that you'll develop together. So you can inquire today. That's the URL there. It is quite long, but if you literally just Google New Access Program and submit an inquiry, they will get back to you. And there's a few criteria, but it's mainly that you have to be a small business owner and that you can't currently be undergoing another mental health program for treatment as well. But definitely, encourage everyone to take advantage of it. I always say it would be so wonderful if we could, transform and overcome the stigma that is out there about mental health. And, I'd love to see a world where working on your mind and your mental health is, just as accepted or just as necessary as working on your physique at the gym, so check that out. I also find, that having inspiring literature, listening to podcasts that I love. This is a book that I really have found impossible to keep because I keep buying a copy of it and then giving it away. But they have an Instagram, and the guy who's written this book, he's in the UK. His name is Charlie McKessie. That's his Instagram handle. And he is an amazing guy. I've never met him, but he's been leaving these copies of his book on bus stops and around the place during COVID, because this is, one of the premise of this book is that it's a bit like a modern day Winnie the Pooh, and it's so beautiful and uplifting. And, I've just put a couple of my favorite quotes from the book, which he's also illustrated so gorgeously. One of the kindest things you can do is to be gentle and patient with yourself. When did you first feel close to us? When you said you struggled too. It's about vulnerability. It's about love. It's about compassion. It's about the human condition. The name of this book is called The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. I absolutely am in love with this book, and everybody who I have shown it to falls in love with it as well. This is another one that is a great read. I've listened to this one on Audible quite a few times, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-U-C-K. It's actually not about not caring. It's about caring and assigning your energy towards the right things in terms of what is worthwhile putting your energy into. Because if we care too much about everything and what everybody thinks in every single detail that we can't control, we're going to get drained. So this is, a fantastic book. In fact, I think I need to listen to it again because it's such a good reminder about, where you assign your energy and, what is it? Where attention flows, energy goes. And then this 10 commandments for reducing stress. I've actually got this printed off next to my bed. So, this is just so helpful, I find. Thou shalt not be perfect or try to be. Thou shalt not try to be all things to all people. Thou shalt leave things undone that ought to be done. Thou shalt not spread thyself too thin. Thou shalt learn to say no. Thou shalt schedule time for thyself and for thy supporting network. Thou shalt switch off and do nothing regularly. It's a big one. Thou shalt be boring, untidy, inelegant, and unattractive at times. Thou shalt not even feel guilty. And above all, thou shalt not be thine own worst enemy, but thine own worst enemy, but thine own best friend. So, thank you guys. And I usually leave this time open for some questions. I love talking about this, and I love to hear feedback and any suggestions or recommendations from you guys about what works for you. But another thing that I was going to also add in to this today is that last night I'm just going to find it, but last night I shared on Facebook a post that I've seen before, but I just love this because it ties in so much with what we're talking about today. I'm just trying to find it for you guys so I can just read you the very first little bit of it, because it is quite long. So let me just find it. It's about, self-care and understanding what self-care really means in today's world. So here we go. It's with this image, and it's by a page called Nepenthe. Self-care is often a very unbeautiful thing. It is making a spreadsheet of your debt and enforcing a morning routine and cooking yourself healthy meals and no longer just running from your problems and calling the distraction a solution. I'll just read it to you guys anyway, because we have a few more minutes. It's often doing the ugliest thing that you have to do, like sweat through another workout, or tell a toxic friend you don't want to see them anymore, or get a second job so you can have a savings account, or figure out a way to accept yourself so that you're not constantly exhausted from trying to be everything all the time, and then needing to take deliberate mandated breaks from living to do basic things like drop some oil into a bath and read Marie Claire and turn your phone off for the day. A world in which self-care has to be such a trendy topic is a world that is sick. Self-care should not be something we resort to because we are so absolutely exhausted that we need some reprieve from our own relentless internal pressure. True self-care is not salt baths and chocolate cake. It is making the choice to build a life you don't need to regularly escape from. And that often takes doing the thing you least want to do. It often means looking your failures and disappointments straight in the eye and re-strategizing. It is not satiating your immediate desires. It is letting go. It is choosing new. It is disappointing some people. It is making sacrifices for others. It is living a way that other people won't. So maybe you can live in a way that other people can't. It goes on, but it is no longer using your hectic and unreasonable life as justification for self-sabotage in the form of liquor and procrastination. It is learning how to stop trying to fix yourself and start to try and take care of yourself, and maybe find that taking care lovingly attends to a lot of the problems you were trying to fix in the first place. It is becoming the person you want and are meant to be, someone who knows that salt baths and chocolate cake are ways to enjoy life, not escape from it. I cut it back a little bit, but that's by Brianna West. And I thought that was brilliant. When I read it last night, I just had to refer to that as well. And the other thing is that nowadays, it's like we're in this society where it's like this hustle mentality. And I've actually come to really dislike the word hustle, because I feel like we all hustle, yes, but also I feel like it shouldn't be about hustling. I feel like it should be about really just working smarter, not harder, and nurturing so we can be better and we can give more to our businesses rather than hustling so that we sort of burn ourselves out. And I guess it depends on your definition of that term, but I really think that self-care needs to be more of a priority and less of a luxury. So I'm going to go back to sharing the screen. I don't think anybody's put any questions in, but as I say, if you have any, please do so, because we have a few minutes for questions. But I just wanted to say also, thank you for listening, guys. Again, if you're watching this after the fact, feel free to send through any feedback. And you can also find me on social media. I'm Kasia from McNaught Media. My Instagram is either at McNaught Media or at Kasia McNaught. As I mentioned, this webinar today has been brought to you by Business Station and the ASBAS Digital Solutions Program. If you already have enrolled with the program and have booked, a one-on-one session, that's great. If you're new to the program and would like to do so, either way, guys, by tomorrow, the 30th of June, please jump on and register. You can book a one-to-one appointment with myself, Kasia, about resilience and well-being or online marketing, as well as many other experts. It's free for your first session, for the first hour. If it's your first engagement with the program, then the second hour is $44, and then it's $66 an hour thereafter. But if you don't register before the 30th of June, as in tomorrow, you will miss out for a little bit anyway. You can actually book an appointment with myself via Zoom anywhere up until the end of July, as long as you do it by tomorrow. Same with any other advisors. It's just that after so from the 1st of August, the program is going to change its form, and we don't know yet what the details of this are. So yeah, so guys, if you would like to book a follow-up session with me or somebody else, do so by tomorrow so you don't miss out. And yeah, I just wanted to say, usually I get more questions, but maybe I'll get some feedback afterwards. But thank you so much. And if you do tune in afterwards, I really hope you find something helpful from this today. Yeah, you know, we're all a work in progress, so it's great to have some helpful reminders. And yeah, I find something that's really helpful for me is to also have accountability. So I also have used the ASBAS program a lot myself to upskill and get coaching in other areas that I'm not an expert in. And I also have, you know, a health and fitness coach that I do my PT session once a week. And I also have a business coach as well to keep me, you know, I coach businesses, but for my business, I have a business and financial coach to keep me accountable. So I am a coach who loves to be coached. So I see the value in it. So yeah, guys, thank you. And if there's an area that you are looking for help with that I'm not an expert in, there will surely be someone in the ASBAS program who is. So yeah, please feel free to reach out to me, and I will do my best to point you in the right direction. Anyway, love to hear from you. Thanks, guys. As I said, you can also find me on social media. It's either at McNaught Media or Kasia McNaught. I am on pretty much every platform except for Twitter because I'm not active on there. So yeah, you'll find me. And yeah, all the best, guys. Stay safe and yeah, stay healthy while working from home, at least for the next, you know, 3-4 days if you're in Perth, and yeah, around Australia. Thanks, guys. And yeah, I really appreciate your time today and hope to hear from you again. All right, then. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.